Personal boundaries. What are personal boundaries? Why are personal boundaries important? Well, this is what we are going to be focusing on. In the coming series, we'll be discussing a topic which is very close to my heart, which is why is it important to set boundaries? What purpose do personal boundaries serve? This is the Just Talk with Rachel, and I'll welcome you to this series of this important topic. Have you ever said yes to something that you don't want to? Have you ever felt depleted, no energies, exhausted, just because you did something to please the other person, whilst yourself was left depleted and tired? Have you ever said yes to something and later regretted? Or rather, have you ever said yes and you spend the whole night emotionally journaling, calculating, thinking, overanalyzing reasons as to why you said yes, because deep inside your heart, what you really wanted to say was no? Well, this episode will make sense. This episode will give you an understanding of what really boundaries are and why do all of us, young, old, we need to set these boundaries. I'm looking forward to sharing this journey, to sharing these experiences, the learnings, because nobody can ever decline the fact that they've been a victim of a situation where they regret why they've said it. Nobody can decline that they've been a victim one time in their lives where they found themselves having said yes to something that they don't want, to having agreed to do something whilst they know that they will not be able to do it, whilst they know that it will take a lot from them to execute that. So this is applicable to all of us. And when we are discussing the steps and the analysis, figure out, ask yourself, does this sound familiar? If it does, we will share the tips as to also how to set your boundaries. What are boundaries? When you think of boundaries, think of a border or a line that separates the yes from the no, that separates okay from not okay, according to your needs, according to your preferences, according to your requirements, according to what you want. That is your boundary. And this is the boundary that you set for yourself. By the way, no one will set boundaries for you. No one will tell you what you can or cannot do. No one will tell you what you are able or not able to do. You are the best judge of what it is that you want. When we talk of a boundary, we are simply saying, what are you happy and not happy with? What do you want to do and what is it that you don't want to do? Because if you don't know what you want, if you don't know what you don't want, there is no way how you are going to ascertain and establish if a boundary has been crossed. So it starts first by understanding what it is that you are okay with and what it is that you are not okay with. Picture a scenario where you have a compass, and in this compass there are only 2 points. There is a yes and there's a no. Therefore, it's either you are happy with something or you're not happy with something. It's either you want to do something or you don't want to do something. That is your boundary. When we talk of who knows what boundaries are, think of little children. Yeah, children. Imagine them playing in the playground with their friends. Or imagine yourself when you were a little child, if you can, and you are playing in the playground. Somebody tries to take your toy. What do you say? No, no, it's mine. That is a boundary. You are refusing. You're saying, no, I haven't finished playing with it. And again, it is my toy. Think of yourself or your child or somebody that you know who's got a small baby. And it's a very small little baby. It wants attention. What does it do? It cries. it says, please give me attention. It's communicating. Or you are trying to lift that little baby up and it says, no, no, it doesn't want you. It's as simple as that. Babies know boundaries. They communicate what they want, when they want it, with who they want it with. What then happens when you grow older? We start changing goalposts. We start shifting. We start eliminating what we want, and we end up not knowing what we don't want. We are even afraid of communicating what we don't want. You know that you don't want something, and you feel afraid. Afraid of what? You feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable of what? You start thinking, what will other people say? Yes, what will other people say? What will you say? We don't put ourselves into the picture. So when we think of a boundary, just simply remember this. It's your yeses and your nos. It's what you want and what you don't want. It's what you are okay with and what you are not okay with. That's how simple it is. What we need to appreciate is, unless we communicate what our boundaries are, unless we are explicit in terms of what we want and what we don't want, people will set boundaries for us. People will impose what they think is okay for us, rather than us communicating our requirements. This is a very subject closer to my heart because I am personally a recovering people pleaser. And as a people pleaser, one of the things that you know is that you will do anything to keep peace. You will do anything not to rock the boat. You will compromise yourself. You will compromise your happiness on behalf of the other person. That on its own simply says there are no boundaries. That on its own simply says you don't know what you want. So this has been a very interesting journey for me. And that is why I'm so excited to share my learnings and also some tips as to how you can start building, or you can be aware if you have or you don't have boundaries. In the next episode, I would like us to discuss why setting boundaries is important. Why is it critical for you or for us as people to communicate what we want and what we do not want? If you haven't done so, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get updates when we share these amazing discussions. Thank you very much for joining me. See you in the next episode.